यादों की बारात निकली है आज दिल के द्वारे, दिल के द्वारे। यादों की बारात निकली है आज दिल के द्वारे, दिल के द्वारे। सपनों की शहनाई बीते दिनों को पुकारे, दिल के द्वारे। ओ छेड़ो तराने मिलन के प्यारे प्यारे संग हमारे। बदले ना अपना ये आलम कभी, जीवन में बिछड़ेंगे ना हम कभी।
हो बदले ना अपना ये आलम कभी, जीवन में बिछड़ेंगे ना हम कभी। यूं भी जाओगे आखिर कहाँ होके हमारे।
यादों की बारात निकली है आज दिल के द्वारे, दिल के द्वारे। सपनों की शहनाई बीते दिनों को पुकारे, दिल के द्वारे।
आगे भी होगा जो उसका करम,
ये दिन तो मनाएंगे हर साल हम।
अपने आंगन नाचे गाएंगे चंदा सितारे।
यादों की बारात निकली है आज दिल के द्वारे, दिल के द्वारे। सपनों की शहनाई बीते दिनों को पुकारे, दिल के द्वारे। का मम्मी का सबका कहना है, 1000 में तेरी बहना है।
सारी उम्र हमें संग रहना है। ला 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 ला। हिवड़ा में नाचे मोर तक थैया थैया, भंवरे ने मचाया शोर खिली दिल की कलियां।
You have it in your hand that goes like that. Check. Okay, folks, can I have your attention, please? We'd like to start with tonight's proceedings. If you are happy to be here, make some noise. Oh, good Lord, that didn't sound too happy. Let's try it again. If you are happy to be here, make some noise. All right, so my name is Ian Stopadijan. I gotta say, it's a pleasure to be here with each and every one of you this evening. I'd like to introduce to you your MC for the evening. She is the niece of the lady of the night. So put your hands together, give a big round of applause for Chandani, your MC for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you, and thank you for joining us this evening as we are celebrating the 75th birthday of Mrs. Radhika Sanachar. So if we can all just please stand up, we are going to be welcoming the birthday girl as she enters. Please put your hands together to welcome the birthday girl, Mrs. Radhika Sanachar, who will be accompanied by her husband, Sinarain. Let's make some noise! Woo! Nadia. Can we please have a round of applause for the birthday girl? Okay, so I'd like to take this opportunity again to welcome each and every one of you as we celebrate this very happy occasion. I hope everyone has had the chance to take some pictures with the birthday girl, but if you haven't done so, you can do so after the program. It is going to be a beautiful evening. We have some speeches, a delicious dinner, a few dances, and some great music by the unstoppable DJ Navi. So the first speaker I would like to call upon to say a few words about her sister is Ray. And Ray is one of the sisters of Radhika.
Welcome everyone to Eek's 75th birthday. Thank you all for coming. A few weeks ago, she called me and she asked me, tell me something. So I said, what is it you want me to tell you? She said, do you know of any secret that anyone is throwing me a birthday party? And I said, oh, no one told me anything, you know. But then she said, well, Rama had this birthday party, and you know, it was so nice, so much jokes, and it was a lot of fun. So I said, well, what are you waiting for? She said, well, I was hoping somebody would surprise me. And she talked to Daddy, and she had us all running within 2 weeks to arrange this whole thing for her. So, anyway, I'm not going to keep, because I know there's a lot of speaker. I wanted to give you a few jokes with Eeks at St. Mike, right? She worked there many years. And as you all know, she used to do the instrument. And one time she had all the instrument in a cart, and on Queen Street there are streetcars running there. So it was winter time and there's a lot of snow. And she was pushing the cart with the instrument, and the cart got stuck in the tracks of the streetcar. And then Eeks decided, well, what am I going to do now? So she leave the cart there and she run back. So not only St. Mike instrument get damaged, the streetcar was delayed for many hours. Right? And then as she worked at St. Mike, you know, one thing that she did in the hospital was collect all the dirty utensils and everything, bedpan and urinal and everything. And there were several rooms where you put the thing, so she didn't know which was which room. So she took it all and put it in the medication room. And then when the nurses came, they said, well, what the hell is going on here? And she said, she didn't know which room, so she stuck everything there together. But as I wish her all the best, and hope to enjoy many more to come.
That was great, Auntie Ray. If you can please have a round of applause for Auntie Ray. So our next speaker will be Reshmi, who is another sister of Radhika.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. It is indeed a pleasure to celebrate, and I always like to celebrate. It's the fun and joy of life. Yes. As you all know, Eeks is the elder sister, and she always acts as the elder sister. And she cooks very nice, tasty food. She has a good sense of humor, and she has a nice family. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, long life.
Auntie Reshmi, very short and sweet. That was beautiful. Okay, so our next speaker is another sister. I know there's a lot of them. Auntie TD, would you like to come up and say a few words about Radhika?
Good evening. When Dan told me that he has my name down for a speech tonight, 3 ideas came to mind immediately about Eeks. Hard work, great parties, and risk-taking. Radhika, or Eeks as Danny renamed her, has an incredible ability to buy houses, to sell houses, to rent houses, to deal with tenants and mortgages and loan payments and all the other stuff that I've never done in my life. and all the stresses that come with it. I must remark that the success of this business has to do with Eeks and risk-taking, but also brother-in-law, who she tagged along, often complaining that he didn't want to do this. And brother-in-law can do anything: cook, clean, drive the car, do the gardening, look after the grandchildren, you name it. So tonight's evening is not only about Eeks, but the man behind her. Anyway, tonight I want to share some stories growing up with Eeks. Some of these memories are what I heard from my mother, and some my own memories. Our late mother's favorite stories, and at 3 of them I can remember very clearly. Once when she was born, 75 years ago, in a village, Anna Catharina, a very British name, in British Guyana, West Coast Demerara. And the day was celebrated as a rather joyous one. She was the first grandchild for both sets of grandparents, both paternal and maternal. Part of that celebration was highlighted. Part of that celebration was highlighted by gunshots. It was a thing back then, but I think my nana, my maternal grandfather, hired someone to fire some gunshots in the air. It was a real big thing. So, what do you know? That was a thing back then. The second story our late mother talked about centers on Eeks when she was about 4 years old, wanting an orni. An orni is a decorative Indian shawl. A salesman was going around from door to door, and Eeks cried and cried. And my grandparents spent $4, probably the whole month's wages of my grandfather, to buy the orni for the child. And she played with it, and she dragged it, and she used it as a blanket, and she dragged it all over the yard, but she had great fun with it. So, to Alicia, Shalini, and Nadia, there they are. When you really want something, cry. Lots of it. And remember the story. Aji cried until they bought her the $4 of shawl. And that's equivalent to perhaps the average week pay now. And don't forget, share that story with Sanjay and Varun when they're older. The third story Mama talked about was an incident when Eeks was about, again, 4 years old, and Mai was chatting with another parent. And they both had babies. You know how women carry their babies on their hips with their toes, the children's toes hanging down. And Eeks was standing there looking very angelically with her finger in her thumb in her mouth. But the baby's toes was directly in her line of view. And ever so quietly, she slipped out the thumb from her mouth, chomped on the toes, and slipped the thumb back right in. The baby screamed, and they all figured, well, maybe an insect bit the child's toe. It couldn't have been Eeks at all. So, my old memories of my older sister are as follows. She had a number of friends, hold it up a little bit, and a whole group of them, and they had a lot of fun together. And from her watching her friends, I learned that having friends was something really great, and I admire that. A local photographer would come often, and they would line them all up and take photographs, and it was a lot of fun. At home, she was second to Mama when it came to the care of my siblings. There's lots of dishes to be washed constantly, and a constant stream of feeding bottles, baby bottles, to be filled up. I'm not going to call any names, but there was one child that the bottle had to be filled right to the very top. And I think both she and I know who that is. Like all firstborns, when we were outside the house, Eeks had the task of looking out for us. Single-handedly, she defended all of us. A memory of mine, a vivid memory of mine, was of Deo. He was just a toddler, and we were outside in the yard, and a boy, probably about Parm's age, came and scared Deo. He had some weird fake facial feature, and Deo was screaming. I don't remember if Eeks yelled at him or quarreled with him. My only recollection of this incident is that the boy climbed out of a ditch. So she did her job, both as in the house, looking after us, cooking, cleaning, filling up the bottles, dishes, beat up kids outside the house. So anyway, Eeks, Radhika, on my sister, on your 75th birthday, congratulations, and many more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie T. Those are some beautiful memories that you spoke about. Our next speaker, I'll call upon one of her brothers, David, to say a few words, please.
Hey, happy birthday, Radhika. Yesterday we celebrated 75 years. And as Daddy would say, you should now go on to live for another 25 to make it a century of years. It goes without saying that the eldest daughter of every family in those times had to mind picnic. For those of you who don't know what mind picnic means, it means babysitting and doing lots of household duties. How did you actually get the name? For those of you who don't know how you ended up being called Eeks, this is how it came about. When Danny, your son, was a little kid, as he tried to pronounce your name Radhika, he ended up saying Ika. So from Ika came the word Eek and then Eeks. Living in the moment, this is something that applies to you very much. For those of you who don't know the meaning of living in the moment, it means accepting today's happiness and forgetting yesterday's happiness, and even forgetting about the future. But you live with a dream. For the last 2 years, you have been knocking on Danny's door for him to take you to India. And about a month ago, he has decided to take you. So not only are you going, but you'll be taking lots of family members along with you. So that's a dream that that dream of going to India is not only about living in the moment, but living also for the future. So instead of family members following their mama, like mine, they'll be following you instead to India next year. Thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay, thank you, David. So we're going to take a break from the speeches, and we're going to have a dance next in our program by the three granddaughters of Radhika, Alicia, Shalina, and Nadia. Can I welcome the girls on stage, please? And a big round of applause for these beautiful girls!
Cha cha cha
Can we please have another round of applause for that amazing performance? That was very well done, guys. So the next performance we will have is done by a family friend. Her name is Sally. Can we please have a round of applause?
आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के चर्चे हर ज़बान पर, सबको मालूम है और सबको खबर हो गई। आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के चर्चे हर ज़बान पर, सबको मालूम है और सबको खबर हो गई। हमने तो प्यार में ऐसा काम कर दिया, प्यार की राह में अपना काम कर दिया। हमने तो प्यार में ऐसा काम कर दिया, प्यार की राह में अपना काम कर दिया, प्यार की राह में अपना काम कर दिया। अच्छा तो क्या आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के चर्चे हर ज़बान पर, सबको मालूम है और सबको खबर हो गई। आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के चर्चे हर ज़बान पर, सबको मालूम है और सबको खबर हो गई।
Can we have another round of applause for that performance done by Sally? Okay, so now we are going to be serving dinner, which is located at the back of the hall, and I'll be calling by tables. So we can start with the three closest to the buffet.
तेरी मेरी गल्लाए होगी मशहूर, करना कभी तू मुझे नजरों से दूर। किथे चलिए तू, किथे चलिए तू, किथे चलिए। जानदा है दिल ये तो जान दिया तू, तेरे बिना मैं न रहूं मेरे बिना तू। किथे चलिए तू, किथे चलिए तू, किथे चलिए। काटू कैसे राता हो सावरे, जिया नहीं जाता सुन बावरे। के रातां लंबे आ रे, कटे तेरे तेरे संगया रे के रातां लंबिया रे कटे तेरे संगया रे
चम 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 अंबरां दे तारे कहंदे ने सजना तू ही चन मेरे इस दिल दा मन लवे सजना तेरे बिना मेरा होवे ना गुजारा छट के ना जावी मैनू तू ही है सहारा
काटू कैसे राता हो सावरे जिया नहीं जाता सुन बाबरे के रातां लंबिया रे कटे तेरे संगया रे के रातां लंबिया रे कटे तेरे संगया रे
So I hope everyone enjoyed that delicious dinner. So I'd like to call on the next speaker, who will be the brother of Radhika, who is also my dad, Kara, to say a few words on this occasion, please.
Relatives and friends, good evening. I'm very happy to be here, and I think it's a distinct privilege for me to be afforded this opportunity to say a few words on this very special occasion, my sister's 75th birthday. Now, on occasions like these, what I normally do is begin by expressing gratitude. So on that note, I'd like to say, when we were growing up, Radhika did a lot for us in the family. It was in the 50s and 60s, and there were many children in our family, siblings, and she was very helpful to Ma in raising the family, the young siblings, because there were at least 3 or 4 of us growing up, and she worked hard, diligently, and she was indeed like a second mother. Also, I want to say that shortly afterwards, she got a job in Georgetown. I remember it was in 1967, and that when she got that job, it contributed a lot to the welfare of the family, because financially we were poor, and by her getting that job, it made a difference in terms of how we lived and overall financial situation. All right. So what I'll do now is to reflect on a few memories from childhood, because often, if we don't talk about these things, they become lost with the passage of time. I remember as a child about 4 or 5 years ago, these are some of the earliest memories I have. Going with Radhika, we were going to take some food for my Aja. That's my paternal grandfather. And this was at Iflat, Ocean View. And I remember following her, taking this food in a saucepan in those days. And it was, for some reason, this memory stuck into my mind when we were taking this food for my Aja. Now, the second memory I want to share with you, when I was about, let's say again, 4 or 5 years, I had Ma and Daddy had bought me a bicycle, for children, one of these small bicycles. And now, I don't remember the exact details, but we used to fight over riding the bicycle. And Ma told me that Radhika would come, and whenever she wants to ride, she would, give me a bite on the hand to get off the bicycle. But Radhika told me that I used to bite her, right? So up to this day, I'm not sure who bit who, but I do remember we used to fight over, you know, who will ride a bicycle, and you know, maybe both of us used to bite each other so that, you know, to get some privilege riding the bike. Okay. Now, another memory that I have very distinctly etched in my mind is when we were going to school. I remember Radhika with a group of friends, I think Taryn mentioned this, alluded to this earlier, would be going to school, right? Would be attending school after lunch, and I would be following them. This was a group of girls, older than I am, and you know, we'll go as a group, returning to school in the afternoon. And I remember them having some salt and pepper and mangoes. And occasionally, Radhika would turn and give me some mangoes soaked in this salt and pepper. And it was a treat in those days. And I clearly remember walking with this group of girls, going to the school, returning to school for the afternoon session. And I looked forward to that. It was like a, you know, it was a treat indeed in those days. So that's another memory I'd like to share with you. And also, as we were going to school, this was Ifla Church of Scotland School. As we were going to school, when we were returning home, we had to cross a cemetery, you know, walk across a cemetery to home. There were many routes, but this was one of the ones that we took. We will jump a drain and walk through the cemetery and head home, you know, which was not far away. So there was this group of girls, and instead of going home straight, we would go and read the tombstone. I remember in those days I barely knew how to read, and I would spell the name like death or loving or whatever was written there. And then we would read the tombstone from one grave and then go to another grave and read the tombstone. And you know, the thing is that after reading one tombstone, right, we read it very slowly because I was, I think in those days, the main reader for some reason. And then we would all say, oh, we're sorry for this guy, man, we're sorry for this guy. And then we go to another tombstone, right? And in those days, it would like, the tombstone would read, here lies John Singer, whatever, born in 1945, died in 1960. And it was an accomplishment to be able to read the tombstone fully and then to say sorry. We say sorry for this guy, and then we move on to another one before we get home. So those are some of the childhood memories I distinctly recall, and I'd like to thank you very much, Radhika, for all the efforts you made to raise us. You know, you certainly you know, have been there and worked diligently, and I remember you washing a lot of dishes and clothes and all that for so many people, and we all, today we survived, and none of us could doubt that we owe you a debt of gratitude for all your efforts, and indeed I want to thank you for living to this age, because not a lot of people live to your age. So on that note, I'd like to conclude, and again, thank you so much. Bye.
So I guess we have to find out who was biting who for that bicycle, right, Veronica?
See what biting me.
Okay, thank you, Dad, for that beautiful speech. Next, I would like to call on another brother of Radhika, Uncle Suraj, please. Please give a round of applause for Uncle Suraj.
Hello, good evening. Nice to see so many of you here this evening celebrating Radhika's 75th birthday. It's quite a milestone, and something that we should all cherish, you know, to live 75 years in good health. What I'm going to say is a subset of what's already been said. And I spent a lot of time with Radhika since childhood days as a toddler. And as Tiran mentioned, I was the one who had the nursing bottle, and it had to be filled up to the very top. But you know, some habits never grow out. I still want my cup to be filled to the very top. Sister Radhika played an important role in bringing us all up. You know, I'm talking about 6 decades ago. I know in the early 60s when there was the riot in Guyana, we were at Anna Katrina seeking refuge at our grandparents. And Raymond and Ramo were very small, and she played an important role in nurturing them. At one time, I got injured, and Radhika nurturing me back to good health. And then as the years go by, we spent a lot of times together. She looked forward to me as an elder brother, as a person of defense. I know at one time there was a prowler in our yard, and I had to get rid of the invading person. She had a good marriage in 1972. It was a grand event. And in 1975, I helped the carpenter build a house that she resided for quite a while. That was 56 Eiffel pasture. I think David, none letter never went there, even though we had owned the house for so long. None letter got to that address. And then we started to work together. We used to travel with Malali in Georgetown, back and forth. So quite a few years we spent together. But there is one thing I want to compliment Radhika for, is that during my years of living with her, spending time with her, she taught me something that I still remember up to now. She said, when you're faced with adversity and disenchantment, to remain calm, maintain peace. Do not hurt people physically or emotionally. And that stays with me up to now, to 35 years. And I remember what merit there was in her saying. So, with these few words, I don't have much more to say, but Radhika, in order to maintain health and enjoy many more happy birthdays, there are certain criteria you have to meet. You have to wake up every morning, you have to pray to the Lord. You have to do good deeds to others. You have to give charity, to help those who are destitute, who needs help. The fatherless kids, you have to give them monetary help. And in any way you can contribute towards the well-being of society. Another thing is, with Bella at home, you have to take him to the park and tie him in the middle of the park with a 200 meters radius and let him take off and run behind with Bella until you get short of breath and your heart rate goes up. That would maintain your health so you can enjoy many more birthdays. With these few words, I want to mention 2 other items. Mr. Radhika, you're always good. You have good friends. Every time I call Radhika, oh, Suraj, I'm going to this party. Next week, I'm going to that party. I will say, oh, that's very good. She's seldomly home on weekends. And another good quality, she's good at reconciliation. If she has an argument with her, within a few weeks, she's mend up and she'll forget the past. That's a very good quality. Not many people have that ability to solve problems within themselves. With that being said, I wish you many more years of good health, strength, and may the Lord bless you. And as I said, be good to others, and the Lord will come to you. Just like Ravan, when he visited Sita, he didn't show himself as Ravan. He disguised himself as a sannyasi when he presented himself in front of Mother Sita. So the Lord would come not as an original form, but in a disguised form. Okay, have many more happy birthdays.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
That's Isha and Arya, two parrots, you know, but they're talking parrots. They love their grandfather. They want their grandfather to do everything for them. The grandfather must come and play with them, take them to the park, and they're cute little girls. Yeah.
Thank you, Uncle Suraj. You covered many areas in your speech. The next speaker we'll have is a cousin of Radhika, Auntie Mala. If you'd like to come up and say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight with family and friends celebrating my sister, 75th birthday. What a milestone. Happy birthday, my dear sister. It certainly is a big one for you. And many of us who are younger than you are just hoping that we get to that age. I just wanted to say that, when you were a bit older than me, and so I didn't enjoy my younger, life in conjunction with yours. But of late, I mean, since we've come to Canada, we've been together and much closer. And from me knowing what has happened in your life, as you passed through your life, you did certainly walk a challenging path. You've overcome many challenges and difficulties in life and came out, successfully. The few things that I want to say is, as my cousin said, you are a risk taker and a strategic thinker. Honest to God, you could not have achieved what you did in your life without those qualities. You have taught us some of those qualities and paved the way for us to follow in your footsteps, and thank you for that. Congratulations once again. I want to wish you Lord Krishna's blessing. May you be happy, joyful, great health, and have a great birthday. Thank you, I love you.
The next speaker or speakers will be the son of Radhika, Danny, and Farah. If you'd like to come up and say a few words, please.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to sincerely thank everyone for coming. I know it's been a short notice, and on behalf of my mom, she really appreciates all you guys being here. Big thank you to Chandani for emceeing, Ray, Ganesh, all the performers, Sally, all the dancers, all the speakers. Thank you for participating in the program and making it fun. Someone who has known my mom for many years, about 30 years, is my beautiful wife, Farah, and she's going to say a few words.
Thank you. Eeks and I have known each other, like Danny mentioned, for 30 years, and we have a wonderful relationship. There's one thing I can say about her is she's a social butterfly. It doesn't matter where she is. She could be at Tim Hortons, the mall, the bank, and even at the temple. She makes it a point to say hi to everyone who passes her way and even start up a conversation. An example of this is when we traveled to Mexico a few years ago. She would be sitting on the lounge chair by the pool while receiving VIP service from one of the bartenders. He would bring her nachos, guacamole, and her favorite drink, pina colada, as she would pronounce it, pino caludo. The VIP treatment came from her chatting and smiling up the bartender, and most importantly, her tipping him under the table with big US dollars. So now, Danny, can you share a childhood memory you have with your mom?
Yes, definitely. I remember during my teenage years, I had went out with some friends, and I came back late, and so I went and opened the door, and the door is locked. The deadbolt is on, right? So I'm like ringing the bell, I'm knocking on the door, and I'm like, oh, definitely Eeks is upset at me, right? So I was locked out for a good hour. So next thing, I didn't bother even trying. So next thing I know, the door started opening. So I'm like, oh God, thank you, she's opening it now. But little did I know, I see a big fat spoon in her hand. And little did I know, safe to say that night, I got some licks and some cuffs. But one thing I did learn is that don't mess with her, and that there's discipline in love.
Since we're sharing teenage stories, I remember calling Danny on the landline, and Eeks would answer the phone. She would slam the phone down and tell me not to call back her son. Now times have changed. She cannot go a day without calling us to make sure we're okay. Since she has her cell phone now, she's accessible 24/7, and on the flip side, she also calls us 2 to 3 times a day. If she can't get a hold of Danny, she'll go through the rest of the family, to the point now where the kids have blocked her number. Eeks also possesses many good qualities, and one of them is she's a very simple woman.
Yeah, one thing I appreciate about my mom is that she's never fussy about her clothing, makeup, her nails, things like that. She's a very simple woman, a very sweet soul. One thing she does love is her hair dye, though, I must say. I could say there's quite a few things. She's a good traveler. She could, if we're doing a road trip or flying in the air, as soon as she hits that seat, she's snoring. And once we arrive, she's all fresh and ready to go. I'm told that part about exercise, that won't work. She does, the word diet and exercise is not in her vocab. I'm just shocked that for 75, she looks so good. And I can attest, she did not do any Botox.
And I just wanted to mention, Danny has learned this the hard way because raising 3 girls often make a trip to Sephora and the nail chamber. So I think he appreciates your simplicity.
All right, thank you, Ford. On a most serious note, my mother is one of the strongest people I know. She's the eldest of 12 children. She was born at the famous house known as Rambagaicha, where her nanny and nana lived. She was the first grandchild to be born, and as per tradition, as TD alluded, there was a symbolic gun salute in the air by one of the local villagers. At this point, many neighbors came to see the beautiful baby. She was adored by her parents and grandparents. She was then given the divine name Radhika by her father, which means little Radha, who is a divine god in the Hindu faith. She grew up liking to play with her dolls. Being the eldest, she was given the responsibility of being a caregiver to her younger siblings, in addition to helping take care of her grandparents, her Aji and Aja. This is where she developed a commitment to her family. She got married at the age of 25, and after a short while, she was separated and left to raise a newborn, myself. With the help of family members, she was able to get through this challenging period. I wish to express my admiration for my mother's hard work and perseverance. My mother is my inspiration, my hero. As a child, I remember my mom working hard to support us. Later in life, she picked up a second job and was determined to give us a better future. She has nothing but my greatest respect, having to manage to hold down 2 jobs while never compromising the time and effort she put in as a wonderful mother to my brother and I. In addition to being so hardworking for over 45 years, my mother is nothing but loving and caring. She truly has a heart of gold. She's always willing to help others and make the time for the people she loves. I don't know if you guys remember the Rogers outage a few months ago. Something curious to note is that my mother calls me on a daily basis, always wanting to check in and see how I'm doing. However, on that day, I knew something was wrong when her phone I hadn't heard from all day. This just goes to show that she wants what's best for us all. She always wants to hear that we're doing well. It is said in the Vedas that a mother's love is the closest thing to God's love. I can truly say, whenever Dean and I are happy, our happiness is my mother's happiness, and it's truly a blessing to have such a selfless mother. Throughout her life, she worked so hard to make sure Dean and I were supported and taken care of. My mother is incredibly courageous and had the financial vision to buy multiple properties. Despite her humbling beginnings, she managed to achieve not just the Canadian dream, but so much more. Not only has she taken care of us within our lifetime, but she's also improved the lives of future generations to come. My mother has always been so bold in taking risks to support her family. Like when she covered a down payment of a house with a credit card. All in all, she's an incredibly accomplished woman, having worked so hard to earn and achieve everything she has now. All that she did that for the good of her family. Eeks, Mom, we're all here to celebrate you and this incredible milestone, your 75th birthday. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done for us. You have given us the greatest gift, your unconditional love. Your powerful love can be felt not just by me, but by all those who know you. You're a blessing to us, and I couldn't ask for a better mother. I'm so grateful and privileged to have everything you've provided for us. You mean the world to us. And I wish Lord Krishna's mercy and blessing on you. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you.
So now we will have a speech by the three granddaughters, Alicia, Shalina, and Nadia. Can we have a round of applause for them?
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Alicia. I'm Shalina. And I'm Nadia. Thank you all for coming today to celebrate our grandma's 75th birthday. Our Aji has always played a huge role in our lives. Her three priorities when it comes to raising her grandkids include constantly feeding us, calling us 24/7, and most importantly, making sure our bank accounts are always filled. Our Aji is not only our grandma, she is also our cook, financial supplier, second mother, and full-time comedian. For example, our grandma has a renowned tradition of taking us to Santa Claus every year for photos, even at this age. Back in 2018, we particularly ran into long lines of families waiting for photos. While we were waiting, our Aji decided that standing was not going to cut it. Our smarter grandparent took a seat on a bench in the mall, but Aji was more attracted to the makeup chair stand sitting outside of Hudson's Bay. Beside it was a perfume bottle for display only. Aji needed assistance to get up on the chair, so she hollered at the worker to help her up. When she got her butt on the chair, something at the bottom snapped. She ignored the fact that she had just broken the chair and continued to yell at us across the mall to come try out the perfume that's already been sprayed 10 times on herself. The same perfume bottle that was on display only. As you can see, our grandma has quite a few great ideas. One time, she decided to take us to the local park after school, like a normal grandparent would. Except most grandparents take a seat on the bench as we play. But not our Aji. Instead, she wanted to get in on the playground action. She was attracted to the toddler slide. Our Aji wanted to prove to us that she still knew how to go down a slide. She made her way up the first 3 steps and then continued to swing one leg over to the slide. She did not anticipate how she'd get the other leg over, so now our grandma was stuck here, on a toddler slide, in the splits position. We called her Aja to come help us out. She was stuck like that for a while, when a young girl who wanted to use the slide saw our Aji and began to laugh at her. This young girl also was here with her grandma. Her grandma and our Aja tried their best to get her off, and eventually she came down. I will never forget the face of shame and embarrassment on our Aja's face as he had to assist his 70-year-old wife off the children's slide. One of my regrets from that day was not stopping her, but an even bigger regret was not recording the whole thing. In all seriousness, we love our Aji. We are so thankful for her in our lives. Her warm heart and dedication to this family is what makes her stand out.
We would like to wish you a very happy birthday filled with lots of love. Thank you for everything. We love you.
Thank you, girls. Very well said. So that will be followed by a speech by the second son, Dean.
Hello everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to celebrate the 75th birthday of my mom, Radhika. Happy birthday, Eeks. I hope you're enjoying your party, and I wish you all of God's blessings and many more birthdays to come. There's not enough words in this life I can say to thank you for everything you have done for me. From carrying me for 9 months before I even entered this world, to raising me for 37 years into the man I am today. You've been by my side every step of the way, and you've always been there to pick me up when I fall and applaud me when I'm successful. I base my definition of unconditional love on the love I've felt from you throughout my life. I admire your ability to overcome any hurdle you face, no matter how impossible it may seem. And I respect your ability to see the good and positive in any situation that comes your way. I can never thank you enough, but I hope today is a small example of how much, not just me, but everyone in this room loves you. I have so many fond memories with you, and because you're such an amazing woman, every year those memories grow. I remember when I first moved back in with you last year, part of me thought it was going to be embarrassing to live at home again. I thought I would miss having my own personal space. But I quickly realized that how much I valued and appreciate spending time with you. Getting to go out with you, talking about current events. It really dawned on me how much I'm blessed to have parents like you and father. And now that I'm a parent myself, I want you to know my goal in life is to emulate the parental figure you have been for me. If I can be half the parent that you've been for me, I'll be happy in life. So thank you once again for always being my rock. And I want to wish you a happy birthday from Bella, Sanjay, Varun, Natasha, and I. We love you so much, and thank you.
Thank you, Dean. It was very beautiful. So now we will have a performance. I would like to call upon Sally, who's a family friend. She previously had an item and now she'll be performing again. Can we please have a round of applause for Sally?
Great.
दूर कोई गाए गुन ये सुनाए तेरे बिन
so our next speaker we'll have is another brother of Radhika. Uncle Dale, would you like to come up and say a few words, please?
Well, this is Radhika. Happy birthday, 75 years. I would like to thank her for us parents and helping us. One day we were going through how we were so small. Like from 5 years, she had so many small kids. You know, she has been nursing baby since 1952, 2022, maybe 18 kids. So when are you going to stop nursing baby? You know. Yeah. So for myself, it's been so helpful. You know, for getting a job, helping me economically in any way that I need help. And not many person, I don't know if that only applies to me, but not many person you can call and ask them for anything. Don't be afraid to ask for anything. Whether, put some dollar for me, or you know what, next 6 weeks I need 60,000, you know. So, and then some people you won't even think about asking those questions to them, you know. But when she will listen and she answer and she deliver, you know. And I always tell her that, you know, make sure you live long like that and don't pass away and let us be together, you know. And she's been like a branch that I'm sitting on, you know, so long, you know. So one day, I heard she had a heart problem, you know. She went to the hospital. So I tell my wife, my top branch nearly break off. You know, anyway, she was okay. So I said, the branch is still on, you know. Anyway, first I would like to, when she started to work in 1967, I went to the train station to meet her when she got her first paycheck. And her first paycheck, if she doesn't remember, was $30.75. And on that, she gave me 25 cents, you know. Which could have buy a lot of things for a kid at 1967, you know. And now I would like to play a dedicated song for her. It won't take long, just a few lines. 1971, Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Zina Taman.
I just wanted to quickly say that I go back with the family that is here tonight. Way back, we started our relationship, which became more of a familial relationship for many, many years that ensued. And Sister Radhika and all her siblings, well, they're very well acquainted with my mom. I'm really, really sorry and regretful that she's not able to be here tonight to see the wonderful evening. But I hope she's watching from wherever she is. I just wanted to take this opportunity, and I would be amiss if I didn't put my 2 bits into honoring Sister Radhika tonight. I do not know what I have done or what I have deserved to have her love the way she has bestowed it upon me. Ever since I have known her, she was very, very hospitable very, very amicable and very inclusive in my family and in our family's relationships and our interactions. But over the last few years especially, she has become almost like a surrogate mom to me. She has extended immeasurable love and conversation and inclusion, especially in any celebration, in any facet of life's important moments. I want to take this opportunity to say how bewildered I am, but at the same time, not surprised at the incredible human being, this lovable, dynamic soul that we have in our presence here tonight. I am so grateful to God that He has given her this much time on the art plane. And I hope and pray that she has many, many more years to come with her loved ones and enjoying the rest of her life with the utmost of joy and pleasure that can be given to any human being that's deserving on this planet. Thank you. So on that note, I would like to conclude the program. We'll be cutting the cake shortly. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out this evening again. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the evening and stay well and safe. Thank you. Have a great night. Radhika and Agustin, if you'd like to come up, you'll be cutting your cake now.
Another great year for you. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday. Right around all of us. Yeah, that's fine. You can help her. Pray for success and stability. All the blessings for you. No mishaps today. Hope you enjoy this festivity. Look at that. We wish you victory in everything you do. All God's blessings to you. There is no one like you. It's a birthday, so every party, let's gather to cut the cake, just to relax, let's celebrate. Happy birthday to you, another great year for you. Happy birthday.
free to come up now. And dessert is also being served on the right-hand side of the hall at the back, so please help yourself.
la la la
check. Okay, mic check 1, 2. So tonight, all types of music for all types of people. If you know this one, let me see you sing it.